No, no.
Really was. One nightmare. Well, I have a technical question. The show have a lot of 3D animation,
Yeah.
and for the 2000, that have to be a lot expensive to do.
Yes.
So that was your idea, the 3D stuff.
Yeah.
It was your idea, or?
Yeah, we were initially at the time the only thing that had done something like that was Iron Giant, the 2D looking kind of toon shaded stuff, but Nickelodeon didn't have a digital department at that time, so it was like our job to try and convince them why they should have one. And around that time, it was very fortunate Futurama came out, and that just kind of ended everything. I was like, that's what we want in the show. So rather than being upset that Futurama, did it, we were like thankful that we had something to point at and say, that's exactly what we want in the show. And they did it. They started their digital department for Zim. And for the time, like, some of that stuff is crazy looking. Like, I was very happy with the end result. Now it's, very simple compared to what you get now. But yeah, that was our idea. I don't remember why it was our idea. I think because we told them, in the long run, it would be cheaper because we could reuse these assets. It wouldn't be as time consuming. And I didn't know. I just sounded good. Like, it's going to be cheaper. And they're like, oh, cheaper. And then so yeah, that's how that happened.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Quick question. While you were in this transition from drawing your comics to working in this big project that is an animated series,
Yeah.
what kind of challenge do you have to face? I mean, what kind of changes do you have to in your workflow do you have to adapt to?
Delegating stuff to people that you trust is kind of like difficult. Comics are a very solitary thing. Going to an animated series is working with a huge team of people who are basically, hopefully, taking a lot of your responsibility away from you. And on Zim especially, I was just very precious about a lot of things. Because I'm kind of jealous of people who come from an actual schooling environment, because you meet people. It's one of the best things, is knowing people, meeting people. My friend so-and-so does this, or this guy does that. I didn't know people who worked in animation, so a lot of the team was kind of assigned to me. Like, I would look at their work and go, yeah, okay, this guy, but you don't know how they're going to work with you. And that was the hardest thing for me, was working with other people, because I came from a life of being alone in my place and just drawing till the middle of the night. That was another thing, having to suddenly become like an office worker, having to drive to work in the morning, with people that I used to point at and laugh at. When I was going home, I'd be going home at 6 in the morning and see people driving to work miserably. And now I was suddenly like, oh my God, I'm a miserable person. I'm that now again. After Zim was canceled, my life kind of went back to being right out of high school. I just stayed at home, I did my stuff at home, I was on my own clock. And then now on the special, I work in an office again. For me, that was probably the biggest adjustment, is suddenly having to structure everything and not just do it all myself. It's cool, and also it's frustrating, because a lot of personalities, a lot of times it's frustrating because not everyone is on the same wavelength, and you kind of clash. But then you fight, and then you're good. Working with people is the hardest adjustment for me.
Just a quick note.
I'm better at it now, though. I'm better at it, way better at it now. Maybe, I don't know, she's like... Yes, I remember. Oh my God, you're the one name I remember. I'm so bad at remembering names. I'm really bad at remembering names.
So when we were talking back there, and we're talking about like how the cinematography and all the things that you have creatively put into this new special. And now when the slides were coming up, and you were like, I don't know what has happened this in the show. I don't know why this character turned out to this. Like made me think about how much of creative freedom did the executive producers give to you during the show, and how many times did you have to bounce with them like an idea before it's like kind of just say yes, like the Santa Claus with the Christmas juice?
You know, weirdly enough, specifically talking about the special that we're working on, we haven't had any resistance. Not yet. So it's like when I was writing the script, all of 2016 I was writing the script. I wrote the script, took all year, because it was kind of slow. There were people, I had to keep getting approvals and stuff. But not because they were like, no, this is terrible. It just takes forever. And up to now, we're in production, we're in storyboards. We haven't had anyone say, you can't do this or no, this. So I'm waiting. I'm just like, oh shit, this is gonna be bad. Like, it's just, there hasn't been any fighting. I think, yeah, the only note that we got was, because there's kind of a nod, it starts off a little bit like the comics, where Dib has been waiting for Zim, and so he's all gross and, you know, and it's a different time now from when we were making the show. Now, you have to be a lot more sensitive to people. And in this case, they didn't want Zim to be, Dib to be overweight. They didn't want us to be making fun of, you know, overweight. Which is really weird, because, you know, it's, if I don't do anything, if I sit in a room and I don't do anything, I will get chubby. That's how my body works. So it's not like I'm making it up. Dib has been sitting, watching a monitor for years and years, whatever, a long time. So he just, you can't make Dib skinnier. He's already skinny. So we're like, well, it has to be an obvious change, so we have to make him squishier. But that was, they're still waiting to see how it turns out. So like, well, we're gonna wait to see how, you know, how you manage it. But that's the only thing that we've run into so far. That's the only trouble we've run into, and that's not even trouble at all. So it's been very different from when I was working on the series. So yeah, almost nothing so far. It'll come though. As we were, and they were leaving as we were moving in to start production. And they're in fine, you know, they've got all like animation coming back still, but they're mostly done. And he's apparently still getting notes as it's almost done. So like, it'll happen. It always does. You know, it's never that easy. The future's horrible. Thank you.